welcome everyone to another final presentation for I-CCEW. Yes, a cheer. It's pretty good energy. It felt a little like a church in here initially. A church of knowledge and insights, maybe. Well, I'm glad you're all here. It's a terrific turnout. Really appreciative of all you coming out to support our teams. See lots of familiar faces as well as some new ones. So we're glad to have you all here. I was going to start recognizing the personal projects of our directors and show pictures of babies, but I knew that would distract us all from actually paying attention to our final presentation, so I withheld. So just imagine two beautiful babies as a result of our I-CCEW directors' efforts. Yes, glad to have them back and that effort underway. Additional impact. So I was recently talking to somebody new in the ecosystem, and they asked, what's the impact been of I-CCEW? And of course, have an answer. There's tons of impact. And I always quote the amount of revenue or funds raised as a result of the student projects. I've tracked hundreds of projects and past clients over the last 19 years and try to keep up with what has been the financial impact. And so we can point at least a thread to over $150 million of impact directly on the organizations that we've worked with. But it's hard to articulate the other things that I think are really important for the impact that our organization has had. Like the founder who continually in their story describing their fund and how it all got started still raises the story of the two student projects that led to naming the organization and then ultimately the structure and the operating model. Really important. It clearly had an important effect on the founder. Sometimes the impact is just about confidence for the nonprofit that wanted to launch something new but really wasn't sure, and after the project had the confidence to go and do it. Sometimes it's about directing a founder to something else. They realize maybe this wasn't the direction they wanted to go. Sometimes it's about the students themselves and getting hired by the clients after the work has been completed. Or even an alum coming back 10 years later to hire our students as interns or as employees. Those are harder ones to capture en masse, but I have tons of anecdotes like this. And I think our projects this semester really will reflect well on these types of descriptions of impact and will continue the legacy. So we've got 3 terrific projects to describe to you today. I'm really impressed with the students this semester. I think we went really far on all 3 projects and really finding data-driven responses and insights for our clients to take action, to feel confidence, and to move forward with their idea. So let's go ahead and get started with our first project.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Amprako, and I had the pleasure of leading the APD team this semester. The team was made up of really amazing and fun people. I'm going to go through all the names and say something a bit special about them. To start with, we had Anita. She became a virtuoso with numbers, financial modeling. She's a biomedical engineering student, but when it came to the money, she was Mrs. Money with the vibes. When it came to Deepak would text me at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. when I was, going through the slides, making sure everything was good. He was like, "Team lead, I think you should take a break. Let me do this. Tell me what to do, and you can go to have some rest, assuring your senior year of college." And he would do it. He would make sure it was done very well. Thank you so much, Deepak. I got 20 more minutes of sleep because of that. And then when it came to Modeste, I personally say she's going to cure cancer or something very close to that. She's working in the biggest labs across the country, doing so much across campus as well, but still finds time to do I-CCEW and put in as much as she can. Hilby. To start with, Hilby is majoring in math and physics. You guessed it. He's going to do a PhD right after he finishes college. He is a really smart person, and his insights were invaluable when we were drafting up our market. I'll not talk too much about them. I'd like them to surprise you and woo you with what you've been working on since the semester started. Ladies and gentlemen, the APD team.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just realized it's not even May yet. But do you remember how hot Oklahoma summers can be? Imagine it is 100 degrees outside. You wake up in the middle of the night, you realize your AC is broken. You have no other choice but suffering the whole night until in the morning when you can call an HVAC technician. But again, this is Oklahoma summer. It is most likely that you are not the only one experiencing this problem. Hence, HVAC technicians are super busy that it might take more than 2 days for your AC to be fixed. This is the story of one of our 19 interviews, Mr. Jensen, who lives in Lawton, Oklahoma. Jensen's family did not see this AC breakdown coming, and it can happen to any one of us in this room. This semester, APD team has been working on designing a home AC monitoring kit with advanced HVAC diagnostic capabilities to ensure that families like Jensen's won't be impacted by unexpected AC breakdowns. The team has been benchmarking similar solutions on the market and designed a prototype for this home AC monitoring kit. Also, the team collected 17 survey responses from homeowners and HVAC technicians, which together with interviews and secondary research were used to identify a $310 million target market and design a strong business model for it. In addition, the team has crafted a $3 million 5-year financial projection. I would like to invite you all as we go through all the details. My name is Modest Jozorukund.
My name is Anita Namtevi.
My name is Deepak Jha.
And I'm Hilbi Akbar.
We are the Agile Product Design team. Our team lead is Peter Amprako, our fellow is Peyton Nilis, and our clients are Dr. Song and Dr. Weng.
HVAC monitoring enhances energy efficiency, improves system reliability, and reduces costs, making it essential for homeowners. HVAC in full stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. And HVAC in simple terms operates as the lungs of your house. During the hot summer, it will take in warm unfiltered air and it will give you cool filtered air into your house. During the winter, it does the opposite, maintaining comfort in your house. There are around 119 million US households that have HVAC systems installed in their houses. Of the 119 million households, 20 million of the installed HVACs operate below their rated efficiency, meaning Jason's story is not only his story, but the story of many other Americans. However, these breakdowns happen due to unforeseen faults that often lead to breakdowns which require repairs and maintenance. These repairs and breakdowns come with a very high financial demand, with repairs costing between $200 to $600 and replacements costing over $5,000 on average. Our clients were prompted to come up with a solution for these existing problems. They are prompted to come up with an HVAC monitoring kit that will be able to enhance diagnostic accuracy and fault detection. The team was prompted to develop an enclosure or kit that will be able to be commercialized and installed in a residential household. With the HVAC kit put into place, an average household will be able to save up to 44,000 kilowatts of electricity per year. This is equivalent to around 120 days of energy saved per year. In addition, a household will be able to save up to $1,000 in repair costs. Lastly, the home AC monitoring kits will have over 85% diagnostic accuracy. It will have improved precision, and it will be able to lengthen the lifespan of the existing HVACs. Now, let's take a deeper look into the existing problems and how the home AC monitoring kits will be able to solve these problems.
So, the home AC monitoring kit provides an effective and low-cost solution to residential HVAC monitoring. But before this product entered the market, the APD team needed to address 3 key questions. To begin with, we needed to redesign the current product into a more market-compatible and versatile form. To address this in our design process, we prioritized simplicity and modularity and researched durable materials and effective and cost-effective manufacturing processes for the product. Once we had a product, we then needed to identify the target users for it and make its value stand out to its potential customers. Our primary and secondary research suggested that about 3 million homeowners within the US with older HVACs, non-smart thermostats, and more importantly, high interest in energy savings would be the ideal target market for the product. Lastly, we needed to build a strong business model for the product, focusing on sourcing, pricing, manufacturing, and distribution strategies. Our research suggested that partnerships with local manufacturers and HVAC contractors, along with the two-way distribution channel, allows for cost-effective production and distribution, generating about $22 in profit per unit. Now that we've identified our key problems and solutions, let's take a look at how each of these solutions were implemented, starting off with the product design. The APD team was tasked with designing an enclosure for a custom circuit board that the product uses. The design was kept as simple and intuitive as possible, prioritizing user-friendliness above all. For example, the enclosure on its top surface has status indicating LEDs that give the homeowner a quick check of their HVAC's performance. The enclosure can also be mounted on a bunch of different surfaces using either magnets or screws. It also features a snap-fit design that eliminates the needs for any external fasteners. The interior of the enclosure also has standoffs to support the PCB mounted within it. It also has ventilation slots to keep the internal components cool, and multiple utility slots such as power, inputs, outputs, and wireless communication. In terms of materials, the ABS PA777D plastic was finalized as the best fit material because of its low cost of production and high durability, impact resistance, and heat resistance. Now, with the material in mind, we decided that injection molding is the ideal manufacturing process for large-scale production because it keeps the cost of production low at just over $5 a unit and also maintains consistency in the quality. Now, let's also take a look at how all these elements come together in the home AC monitoring kit and how its fault detection mechanism actually works. It all starts with a set of wireless BME 280 sensors, which are installed onto the user's HVAC unit. These sensors collect both temperature and pressure data and send them over to a processing unit through a wireless protocol called LoRa, which stands for long range. This processing unit is contained within the enclosure and is loaded up with a software algorithm that performs data analysis and fault detection. Diagnostic information from this processing unit is sent over to the end user's device through their home Wi-Fi. The end user can access this information in a very comprehensible manner in the form of a web user interface. And this is how the Home AC Monitoring Kit provides a convenient and easy solution for homeowners to monitor their residential HVACs.
APD's HVAC monitoring kit can generate about $310 million through direct and indirect sales to homeowners with central HVACs installed. There are 132 million US homeowners. To finalize our target market, we did both primary and secondary research. From our 19 plus interviews and 24 plus survey responses, we learned that homeowners will be interested in buying a product like this. One of the tenants said, and I quote, "Homeowners should be the ones paying for HVAC maintenance." Similarly, we realized that the main motivation for homeowners to buy a product like this is saving money on electricity and not being wasteful. Our research suggests that 59% of the homeowners wanted to save electricity by using a product like this. Thus, applying these two major criteria, together with disposable income, availability of central HVACs, and smart devices, we were able to reduce down our target market to about 3 million US homeowners, which is equivalent to a target market of $310 million US. Now, if you look at the total HVAC service market size, it's about $27 billion US. That means there is a huge room for growth and expansion. This target market can be tapped in through direct means or through indirect means with the help of HVAC companies and manufacturing contractors.
Given this huge market, Home AC Monitoring Kit is not the first HVAC monitoring technology to be developed. Hence, you might be wondering, how does it stand out? Well, Home AC Monitoring Kit offers a more advanced HVAC diagnostic capabilities while remaining affordable and easy to install. Currently, similar solutions available on the market include smart thermostats that have limited features of HVAC diagnostic capabilities, and there is remote monitoring solutions used by companies like Sentry and Monit that helps to collect comprehensive monitoring data, but only for HVAC technicians, not for homeowners. And then there is periodic maintenance visits that can help to detect some faults earlier on, hence saving some money and energy. Home AC Monitoring Kit was compared against all these solutions based on the most important features of HVAC of HVAC monitoring device such as a low cost, advanced diagnostic capabilities, ease of installation, connectivity with smart features, comprehensive monitoring, and HVAC control. Where there's no solution that checks off all these features, Home AC Monitoring Kit takes the lead at checking off most of them, with most important features being its low cost, advanced diagnostic capabilities, and comprehensive monitoring. It is now clear that Home AC Monitoring Kit stands out from existing solutions. But now the question you might be asking yourself is, how is it going to reach that huge market identified? First and foremost, more than $22 profit will be generated for each Home AC Monitoring Kit sold through direct and indirect sales. And this is how it is going to happen. Our client will have to partner with manufacturing companies to manufacture Home AC Monitoring Kits for $60 per unit. These manufacturing companies are also going to handle other fulfillment services, including transporting products to the market. Also, our client will need to pay $0.2 per unit for cloud storage in order to store and have access to the data collected by these kits. Since the surveys show that 60% of homeowners prefer direct purchase, when 40% prefer indirect purchase, direct sales are going to be handled through Amazon, where homeowners will pay $112 per unit. And indirect sales will be handled through HVAC companies, where HVAC companies will buy Home AC Monitoring Kits from our clients for $90 per unit with additional opportunity of exclusivity contract. Then they will sell this Home AC Monitoring Kit to the homeowners as part of their HVAC service package.
The Home AC Kit could break even in its first year on the market and be able to generate up to a net profit of $1 million by the end of year 5. The team was able to come up with a 5-year financial projection based on the total revenue and total expenses. The total revenue is made up of direct and indirect sales sold at their respective unit prices. The total sales will grow from 13,000 kits sold in year 1 to 25,000 kits sold in year 5. The total revenue will grow with the increasing number of sales. The total revenue grows from $1 million in year 1 to $3 million in year 5. However, the expenses also increase with the increasing number of sales. The expenses will also increase from $1 million to $2 million in year 5. However, despite the increasing expenses, the business still remains profitable, breaking even in the first year and still generating a net profit of $400,000 in year 1. This net profit grows from $400,000 to $1 million in year 5. Therefore, this shows the profitability and viability of our business model, which shows that the product will be able to be sustained on the market.
APD's roadmap ensures a smooth transition from prototype to production and market entry in 2 years, together with strategic partnerships with HVAC companies and contractors. This will be done in the following order. The first 6 months will be spent on building core product features and UI. HVAC companies and manufacturing companies will be contacted during this period of time as well. By the end of year 1, product beta testing and optimization will be finalized. The partnerships will also be concluded by the end of this year. The following 6 months, infrastructure will be built and production will start on a large scale. And finally, by the end of year 2, product features will be expanded and the market will be scaled up. Thank you so much for your attention, and now we are open to your questions.
What sort of marketing do you think would be most effective for this kind of product?
Thank you so much for your question. If I'm to repeat your question was, which kind of marketing would we be able to use to market this kind of product? To answer this question, we identified 2 main marketing strategies, the first one being email advertising, and the second one being Facebook advertising. We came to conclude that these 2 will be the most effective means of advertising based on the age ranges of our target market. The age ranges are from 35 years to 65 years. We identified that this age bracket will be more likely to use Facebook and will be more likely to open up their emails and actually read about the product. In addition, according to our research, we were able to find out that about 0.5% of the people who open up Facebook ads or email advertising are more likely to actually purchase our product. In addition, we made thorough research to make sure that these types of advertising will be able to reach our target market and make the net profit of $1 million. Thank you so much.
Yes, please.
Did you think about a target market in like commercial landlords for older buildings, maybe where each unit is not individually on a thermostat that like they could convert to a smart thermostat, but some commercial landlords or multifamily landlords would have an interest in reducing their energy costs if that's something that they can't pass on to their tenants?
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. So the question is whether we looked into the commercial aspect of this product. We started with residential homeowners. That's because there are already products out there that deal with industry and commercial part of this product. And the reason why we are focused on residential homeowners is because there is no incentive for companies to make a product like this, because in commercial aspect there is a feedback process, while in residential HVAC systems there is nothing at the moment. So from here, as you saw on the business model, that companies can actually use that data for their own benefit. So that's part of the reason why we are interested in this.
Yes, please.
What kind of prototyping did you do?
Thank you very much for your question. Your question was what kind of prototyping we did. So the APD team was mainly tasked with designing an enclosure for the circuit board, because most of the back-end development was done by our client's team. So we went through multiple iterations of designing an ideal PCB enclosure. We took inspiration from what a typical PCB enclosure looks like in terms of features, such as mounting, housing the PCB indication, etc. And that led to an initial design for the enclosure. We then did multiple rounds of testing, including and removing ports based on our client's needs. We also 3D printed and tested a prototype for its durability and structural integrity, and that is eventually what led to our final design. We have time for just one more question. Yes, please.
So you talked about how one of the advantages is ease of installation, right? So how long does it take to install another electric structures that can install this stuff?
Thank you very much for your question. Your question was how long does it take to typically install this product? And I would say we don't have an exact answer to that, because the product is still in very experimental stages and isn't exactly, it doesn't exactly have a user version of it. So we don't have an answer to that, but what the product is aimed to be is that a typical homeowner should be able to install it with minimal tools and little to no time, less than 10 to 15 minutes, I would say. And thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. My name is Baylor Savage, and I had the opportunity to be the team lead for the Social Enterprise or Socient product this semester. This product is interesting because we have very many different majors and a diverse group of people working on the product. They're extremely excited to show you guys all their hard work and their insights from this semester. But before that, I'd like to take a moment to celebrate all their successes and individual achievements this semester. First off, I need to start with Vanessa, our numbers girl. Vanessa loves research. I've had 5 or even 10-minute conversations with her talking about how she has spent hours finding just one number for one place in our report. Next is Caleb, who was always there for our morale. If you ever needed something reviewed or checked on, you would always get a text from him saying, "Great job," or "This looks good," or sometimes even, "You guys are so much better at this than I am." From there, we had Benilson, who was a sponge. Every time we needed work done, he would never shy away, would always volunteer it. If we needed him to do extra research or to change slides or anything like that, he would never ask why we needed it, just what we needed and when we needed it by. Finally, we have Andiba. who used her well of knowledge and expertise in the field of consulting to really push the project forward and ensure us that we were always going in the right direction. I am incredibly grateful and proud of all the time I've been able to spend with them this semester and watching them grow and watching this project go to where it is today. So without any further ado, the Socient team.
In my years of practice, sexual harassment claims haven't been treated with the seriousness that they warrant. In any organization, don't expect to find 10 different perpetrators. There's always that one person who is responsible for all the sexual harassment claims within the organization. If you're lucky and your case gets prosecuted, you risk being blacklisted and becoming unemployable within the industry. These are some of the sentiments that interviewees shared while we conducted interviews to assess the attitude towards sexual harassment within workplaces. It is such stories that inspired the Callisto project to create the Callisto Vote, a platform leveraging advanced technology to connect victims of sexual assault and help bring repeat offenders to justice. Earlier this year, Callisto challenged us to come up with a strategic initiative for them to expand their reach beyond serving college campuses, demonstrate impact to investors, and generate income. Over the last 3 months, we have conducted 8 interviews across 5 different markets to assess the need for stronger reporting solutions and determine the value that Callisto can add. Today, we present a business model that has the potential to serve over 1 million people across the United States, and it is backed by a financial model that estimates over $700,000 in revenue for Callisto over 5 years. My name is Andipanyasha Mtevedzi, and I'm a biomedical engineering major.
My name is Vanessa Soric-Dodig, and I'm a psychology and applied statistics major.
My name is Caleb Zananagnis, and I'm an economics and applied statistics major.
My name is Benilson Sebastian, and I'm a mechanical engineering major.
Callisto aims to commercialize its technology to enhance sexual assault reporting systems worldwide. But what is it that makes this platform so unique? Callisto was designed as a survivor-centered online platform that aims to revolutionize how sexual assault is documented and reported. It consists of 2 main features. First being the incident log, where users are allowed to describe details of their experience while preserving full control over if, when, and how they illegally report it. The second is the matching system. This system allows users to input unique identifiers of their perpetrator into an encrypted database, and if a match occurs, meaning that 2 or more victims share the same perpetrator, they're connected together and offered legal and counseling services without their identities being exposed. This is critical because Callisto currently offers one of the only comprehensive matching systems on the market, which is super important considering overwhelming 90% of college sexual assaults is committed by serial perpetrators. With severity of this issue in mind, Callisto reached out to us with a critical question. How can we reach and help more people? To answer this question, we had to address one of the unique barriers to their success. Since they only currently serve college campuses and remain a free service, they have limited financial sustainability.
Our mission was broken down into 3 specific answerable questions. The first of those was which market should Callisto be pursuing outside of the educational industry? To answer that, we identified 3 markets with a large potential for growth, those including the military, safety apps, and advocacy groups. We then asked ourselves what business model would help Callisto achieve their financial independence without compromising their mission purpose. To answer that, we decided that they should sell access to the service to mission-conscious organizations and allow personalization as well as limited data access. Finally, we wanted to know what the long-term financial implications of our business model would be. To answer this, we created a 5-year financial projection that shows Callisto being able to achieve financial independence over the next half-decade.
To determine the value that Callisto can add to the industry of reporting solutions, we looked at similar organizations, and we discovered that Callisto actually performs better than its counterparts when it comes to prioritizing the needs of survivors. Firstly, Callisto's highly secure and encrypted platform allows users to document their experiences without immediately triggering an investigation. This ensures that survivors remain in full control of their narratives, in contrast to other systems like Title IX that often require the immediate involvement of the administration, which can be overwhelming to survivors. Secondly, Callisto's matching system is very unique in the sense that it notifies the responsible authorities once a perpetrator has been mentioned more than once within the system. This helps to empower survivors to come forward and helps them feel less isolated when pursuing legal action. As a result, Callisto is able to take down some of those barriers that prevent survivors of sexual assault from coming forward. Lastly, Callisto has third-party independence. This means that it can eliminate institutional bias and remain neutral when dealing with survivors of sexual harassment. This is different from other systems such as Catch and Centrio that are often such as Catch and Title IX that are often internally controlled and can result in institutional bias where the system favors the reputation of the institution more than the well-being of the survivors. With these characteristics identified, we then realized that they would be most appealing to the following markets that Vanessa will walk us through.
Callisto's potentially obtainable market is estimated at 1.1 million users based on targeted adoption and outreach rates. When considering these markets for Callisto to expand into, we consider a variety of factors, such as a general target market size, which was estimated at 19 million in total, as well as technology adoption history across different industries and general market readiness and interest. The pie charts on the slide illustrates adoption potential for Callisto in these industries. Furthermore, our research concluded what makes an ideal customer for Callisto. And we conclude that these are industries that generally lack secure and anonymous reporting options, as well as industries with strong power hierarchies, where serial perpetrators are most likely to benefit from discouraged reporting. Lastly, those industries that have existing interest in worker protection, talent retention, and preventing sexual harassment make a great customer for Callisto.
In order to monetize this technology, Callisto's business model should provide the organization with 3 different revenue streams, one of them being safety apps. Just for some context, some safety apps have reached out to the Callisto team about the possibility of having Callisto software integrated into those apps. In exchange for that, Callisto would charge them a fee of 25 cents per user. Then we have a partnership with the military. Because of the nature of their work, a partnership with the military will require that the military have some more control over the software. Therefore, in order to have access to the survivor matching software and victim support, the military would pay Callisto a technology licensing fee. And lastly, we have partnerships with advocacy groups and workers' unions. The way this would work is that they would gain access to Callisto's survivor matching software, as well as some form of trend reports, and in exchange for that, they would pay a fee of 99 cents per member of the organization. They would, on the other hand, inform their members that they now have access to Callisto software and as part of a membership fee that they pay to be a part of the organization. Advocacy groups and workers' unions represent by far the largest source of revenue stream for Callisto, especially in short term. And because of that, we're going to go a bit more into detail on why we chose it. So why did we choose to work with advocacy groups and worker unions and not with companies directly? Well, one of the reasons is the idea of institutional betrayal, which is when an institution causes harm on people who depend on them or rely on them. Data suggests that there's a direct correlation between institutional betrayal and sexual harassment reporting. 55% of people who have experienced workplace sexual harassment have also been victims of institutional betrayal. Data also shows that having been a victim of institutional betrayal reduces the likelihood of people reporting sexual harassment in the workplace. Another reason why we chose to partner with advocacy groups and workers' unions are companies' stance on the issue. From our conversation with Callisto's team as well as research, it has been shown that companies are hesitant to work with resources like Callisto because they fear they might be bad for their reputation. They fear that cases from the past might come out or that there are too many reports happen in a short amount of time. However, there are companies that are willing to work with Callisto, but many of those only want to do it for reputation's sake without actually caring for the issue, which does not align with Callisto's mission and values. Insights from our interviewees agree with what data suggests, as they have stated that they would prefer if a resource like Callisto was associated with a nonprofit or any type of third-party app that actually showed care for the issue and wasn't doing it solely for reputation or profitability. Some of the advocacy groups that the group identified could be as possible good partners include the Texas Nurses Association, California Nurses Association, and the California Bartenders Guild.
To ensure a successful market entry, Callisto should adopt a cluster-based strategy as well as launch pilot programs in high-impact areas. First, Callisto should approach those advocacy groups that share their core values because these groups are more likely to meaningfully engage in tackling sexual harassment. Furthermore, our research suggested that targeting only small advocacy groups may limit Callisto's reach, while targeting only large national-level organizations may pose bureaucratic challenges. For this reason, Callisto should aim to diversify their partnership portfolio based on advocacy group size to ensure both agility as well as broader impact. Now, in terms of geographical clustering, the hotspot states where sexual harassment happens the most should be where Callisto starts. This is a place where they can demonstrate their impact and relevance the most. Once they identify these optimal clusters, Callisto should then move into launching pilot programs. This should include expanding outreach as well as granting temporary access to those advocacy groups that they originally partnered with for the pilot program, which could then assess Callisto's usability and relevance to that advocacy groups and the industry that group represents. Reports from the pilot programs, such as in a form of standardized feedback surveys, could then be used to further refine the implementation strategy. Overall, this approach should position Callisto for scalable, contract-ready partnerships that should boost their value proposition compared to the competitors.
Our business model shows that in 5 years, Callisto can achieve earned income of $780,000. Now, this financial projection was based off of a couple key assumptions, which include the idea that any new work is going to need to be done by additional employees, and Callisto will have to enlarge their team. Additionally, we're assuming that the research and interviews that we determined our pricing off of, that being $3 per year per user for apps and 99 cents per year per user for the advocacy organizations, will take within the market. Importantly, within 3 years, we believe that Callisto can be financially independent from grants, which has been a huge priority, and that they will be able to financially sustain themselves without needing to rely on outside philanthropy.
Based on all the findings mentioned during the presentation, the team built a 5-year implementation plan for Callisto. Year 0 and 1 would focus on the pilot program, which would be used to test user friendliness of the software. In order to manage this, Callisto would need to hire an outreach coordinator, which would also be responsible for some of the digital marketing as well as the in-person approach. Furthermore, as Callisto is now expanding to new industries, some software changes will need to be made, which includes changes to the interface as well as adding new identifiers. Still in year 0 and 1, Callisto should start approaching some possible partners, and the team suggests California-based groups because of the idea of hotspot previously mentioned, and one of the suggestions being the California Bartenders Guild. At this stage, Callisto should also look into establishing its partnership with one of the safety apps, which is My Sidekick. On year 2, Callisto should focus on expanding, but not limiting itself only to California-based groups, but expanding to other groups across the nation, like the National Society of Women Engineers, as well as more safety apps like the Circle of Six. At this stage, Callisto should also start making the strategic plan for its entry into the military market. For year 3 to year 5, Callisto should focus on refining its business model based on all the experience that it has gained the previous 2 years, as well as continue to approaching more advocacy groups or other possible partners. And the team at this stage suggests the New York Nurses Association. And lastly, at this stage is the ideal stage for Callisto to reach out to the military market about implementing its services there. I will now take the time to thank our amazing team leader, Baylor, for all the help he gave us throughout the project, much guidance, and giving us the confidence to step out here and present this amazing project. I also got to thank our fellow, Ashlyn, for all the amazing insights that she gave us throughout the project, which allowed us to always improve our work and for always making sure we're on track. Thank you, all of you, for coming here and listening to us, and I now open the floor to any questions. Thank you.
Why is it important for Callisto not to rely on grants?
Okay, so the reason why this project exists in the first place is because about a year ago, Callisto was faced with the possibility of completely shutting down. They were not generating revenue since their service is a free service to students and they were only serving college campuses. So they were relying on grants then, and when grants didn't come through, they had to shut down their operations. So they want to start generating revenue and being less reliant on grants so that they can continue surviving even if grants are not available. Yes.
So when they notify the proper authorities, when you have it in like businesses, college campuses, is there a common authority, or would that be like in businesses, would it go to the higher ups in that business, would it go to the police, where would those authorities be?
So the question is, once the match occurs in the system, who exactly out of the authorities is notified, right? So they don't notify authorities directly like police or even Title IX, which are mandatory reporters. They notify legal counselors as well as mental health counselors. And this is done with the victim's identity being completely protected. So they get to consent to whether they want to reveal who they are and whether they even want to reveal their identity to another victim they've been matched with, right? So they get offered these services, and Callisto partners with third-party counselors in both legal and counseling. So that way they don't have to keep this internal, and depending on their growth, they're not going to have to do this by themselves, right? They have partners in both legal and counseling industry.
Some of those professional organizations that you identified as being some of the first people to target, I imagine probably have thousands or tens of thousands of members. If we're talking about nurses or bartenders in California. And 99 cents a member, I could anticipate that's a large expense that they'd be incurring every year. And I know a lot of these organizations run on thin margins. Have you considered like changing the pricing for organizations that have a very large user base like that in order to make it not so expensive for them to adopt, or is the 99 cents per user necessary based on the cost that it takes to run an app for an organization like that?
Thank you for your question. The question was for anybody who didn't hear, is 99 cents per member of the organization too expensive for those organizations that have hundreds of thousands of members or tens of thousands of members? Now, here's the thing. For example, California Nurses Association, as well as New York Nurses Association, and some of these broader organizations are part of a broader sort of like union umbrella organizations, and they already have membership fees per member that are hundreds of dollars a year. So we estimate that the 99 cents wouldn't impact that membership fee per member to the member, right? The idea is the membership fee would be added to the already broader membership fee as a part of sort of the package that the member gets. Also, that's the reasoning we provided for diversifying sort of based on advocacy group size, where in case this big deal of $100,000 with California Nurses Association doesn't go through, Callisto still has small organizations to rely on while they found one of these big deals. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you.
We have time for one more question. Yes, Jeff.
The military seems like a huge market. Why is that pushed well off into the future and not accounted for in your plan?
So the question is, if the military is such a huge market with the potential to lend Callisto a lot of income, why aren't we targeting that earlier on? The answer to that question is because the military is going to require a longer period of proof where we can point out to the military these specific advocacy organizations and show how Callisto is able to thrive and provide value to people across different industries. Additionally, the contract process for the military is very long, between 6 and 18 months. And so while we want to start that as early as possible, we don't want to build that into the financial model, as that might be an event that takes place after 5 years.
Thank you so much.